innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge, in a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists and healthcare centres. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information. Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 305th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, December 5th, 2019. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Kremd. I'll be your host today, along with Flint Mulhausen. And of course, we are joined with Mr. Mayran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I believe he's ready to go with today's teaching and information. Hello, Mr. Keshe, are you there?
Yes, good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to these Knowledge Seekers series of programs. We have some new teachings and we have some new ideas. As usual, we share on Thursdays. We welcome many of the people in the background who come from different establishments and government organizations to the teaching. We know many of the national and international organizations and government officials have started, especially on the financial side, since we went into American market, listening to his teachings, and has made a lot of difference, politically and diplomatically and financially for the governments and for the nations, and in so many ways has brought Keshe Foundation in a new dimension. One of most important things which the new work has started is that we Foundation changed its approach in past few months in respect to work with governments, work interfacing with governments. In the past, whenever we announced we are going, for example, to such and such a country, the team of what we call people in different part of, especially Belgium, start calling the hotels, the governments, and sending documents that is abroad and blah blah. We give these documents in advance of any communication with the government, and we give them a choice. You go with this, which is going to European Court of Justice, or you go with the technology which can change your government. And we have seen the change of governments. And two of the governments, especially now, has set up a special security system for the calls which come in, that they can trace who it is, what it is, and further on we tell you what we're doing to do with them. These all telephone calls, numbers and people will be as part of our evidence to the European Court of Justice. With the two nations we advanced warn we are going to, they already transferred documents to us. All the calls and who were made, and they thought they were very clever according the way government or the other governments, and they thought they called the Brazilian government and then they called this and that. We are collecting all these data. That's why we give you advance warning that you start making your calls. This is adding to our file in European Court of Justice for large damages which are sitting in there to come up. We know, as we said before, this is how Keshe Foundation is working from now on. We head on. We are an organization internationally supporting, and since last time we were in Brazil, the officials, international officials, came to an agreement with us in the background that this is what we're going to do, because they realize how much damage has been done deliberately to steal the technology from the benefiting other nations. So please make call as much as you can to all the hotels, to all the government officials, what you made to everywhere. Now you are making us more solid in our claim against the state of Belgium. It's very straightforward. And you did not realize how we set you up, but this is the way the foundation works from now on. Our initial contacts with officials and governments, put the case we have organized ourselves. We give the case of the fraud, which is set up by Court of Belgium. We give them our case appeal, and they can read immediately armed officers in the police station. This is criminal. We could not believe it's happening. This has led the court case of Belgium with the Keshe Foundation and what is happening with the human trafficking to we hear abdication in the structure of the Belgian government. There is a possibility, we hear there's a possibility that now so much human trafficking cannot happen without the knowledge of people on top. Now the investigation into the whole structure of the human trafficking in Belgium and what has happened to Keshe Foundation and stealing technologies has merged together. And it'll come up in the European Court of Justice in our appeal. And we hear a lot of people are traveling to different countries trying to arrange how they can escape once this hits out. This is a matter of time which will come out. It's in Brazil at the moment. We arrived in the beautiful nation of Brazil for a second time in past 24 hours. Call the government. We are collecting data. Please do. We give you the name and hotel and everywhere else. We set you up and you fell in it. And now we have a full evidence. This is what we were looking for, to go to European Court of Justice. Systematic governmental harassing scientists and everybody else. Then you understand how Keshe Foundation has become. When we informed you the last time, when we were in Brazil 2 weeks ago, the nations of BRIC allowed us to stay with them within their structure of security. You should have got the tangles that the game through these organizations to bring the physical damage and actually connecting the killing of scientists to human trafficking and the rest of it. And thank you very much for the Belgian team and the German team. You've done us a huge favor. You just walked into what we wanted. Now we have actual names, telephone numbers, and everything else, which is done. And everybody else, we tell you where we are. We are in the country of Malta on the 16th, 17th, 18th of January. Please call. We're collecting more data. And then the same is, we are becoming very wise, and governments have become very wise because the data are coming up. And there is one thing most of you do not know, people work around this way. Most of the world leaders and their families are sick and are turning to Keshe Foundation because there is. Now I understand how we change. We support the world leaders, their families, the growing governments with their health, and they can see how much lie has been told and how much has been kept from humanity. Now, please make more calls. And the more you make, the easier it makes for us to do our work for when it's come to European Court of Justice and other cases which are running around. As I said, we are aware of abdication of one of world leaders. One of monarchies has asked and is making to abdicate. We the name and the details. This has been received through our securities. And we never speak out unless it is there. And you will understand one of the world leading monarchs, or one of the biggest crooked monarchs, will soon abdicate. And it will be the end of things to be promised. Because the structure is extremely dangerous for this nation. And we have to see how much the other nations are popping it up to how far we'll go. But as we know, the king has made a trip requesting for arrangement for him and his family to be safe. We will go into this in full detail. You might hear it from us, or it might come into public domain in coming times. The beauty with it is that we all become equal. Nobody is over no one, and there is no kingship. There's no what we call structures to damage others. On the other hand, as we are aware, we launched the development of the what we call the enhancement unit. The enhancement unit has been a success and is picking up. A lot of people are waiting for its physical appearance. It will be most probably presented in Dubai 2020, what we call exhibition. It'll be predominantly will be displayed and released of January, and will lead into deliveries to worldwide. The enhancement unit was to correct what is going wrong with the human body. As you know, there is a conference going on today in Spain in respect to environmental cleanup of the mess we made, and the governments have no answer for it. All what agreed in Paris conference and the other one cannot be met because the need for energy, the need for a new style of life puts demand on. The coal, stopping of the coal, what we call generators or power stations, was supposed to start in 2020, but no government has that power. Chinese government will collapse economically if it do. And to sustain many other nations, like what we call African nations who have coal, but the natural resources have reached the maximum, cannot applied with nuclear technology, but then they have to go into the coal and in gas, which this creates a new dimension for addition and extra what we call CO2, or what we call climate warming, and whatever they want to call it. Today we announce the following. Keshe Foundation, in a
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we just heard the
Yeah.
last that you're about to make an announcement, and
What did you hear?
No announcement.
Stop. Yes, no announcement. That's good announcement. What we do, we make announcement that in Mexico conference, 100% in conference in Mexico, Keshe Foundation will release a new system for health of this planet. We have developed, and the same, once we show the what we call the enhancement unit for body of the man, we will deliver a new technology, mass production for absorption of the CO2 in the large quantities, especially in cities. There is an option for us to make this system to be individually tailored or nationally tailored. We have the technology that we can extract large amounts of CO2 from the environment and convert this into a useful product. This is our response to what we call the conference in Spain, that the world governments, world leaders in the next few days will make a lot of speech on our law, but there's no solution for them. Keshe Foundation will submit such a solution. We have a big dilemma with this development. I explained this before. This extraction of what we call CO2, or what we call cause of global warming, part natural process will not change. But on the other hand, this increase in different levels of whatever we have in the environment has come to us over 50 years as we become more industrial nations. And most of our generation have received, and most of the plants and even human bodies have adapted to these new changes. That's why we see so much cancer too. Increase in what we call materials in the environment through the exhaust pipes or whatever has created a new condition, new evolution in the environment that the body of the man has to evolve with it. And as we cannot evolve so fast, we end up with cancers. So part of the evolutionary cause of cancer is part of what we see. And it's not just global warming, it's going to get higher. The cancer rates partially is due to this. We are putting too many metals in the space that we are breathing. The new technology which will deliver it and will be mass produced is to return and change this position. Again, the systems for governmental level will stay at values that we consider to be correct if the government wants to do, or in a what we call portable version for individuals who want to do. But government have to decide what percentage, at what rate we are going to clean up. It's not that it's going to be done. Now that it's in our hand and we can extract it, is how much governments allow us to extract. Because if we increase the level of oxygen in respect to CO2, we will create a different dangerous climate condition. This is part of what we do. We are not coming to sort a problem, we are coming to stop another problem too. If you understand, in a way, we have created a tree that releases oxygen, but how much oxygen can we put in? The game which the Dutch people played, that you could buy a tree in Amazon that it creates more oxygen. Now this tree can be made to be in your home. You have full control of how much you convert. But then if millions of us convert at the same time, what damage we are going to create to ourselves? The problem is not that the mankind does not have the knowledge to stop anymore, but is if we return too fast, what damages are going to cause on the planet again, and then if the damages are not going to be more than letting the CO2 to be created by controlling it to a low level. In a way, now that we have developed the technology for what we call enhancement for human body, we have developed the technology for enhancement for the planet. We're healing the body of the man with the new technology. Now we're healing the body of the planet. But this process will have direct effect on every single being on this planet who in the past 50 years, 100 years, due to man industrialization, have started evolving. The evolution due to industrialization creates cancer, creates new positions we call cancer. Now that we have the knowledge to convert, we now understand the life of the vertical people, how they convert CO2 into oxygen, and now we have the knowledge to do this conversion. What is going to be the consequences on us and our children? What does this new technology in conversion and extraction of CO2 brings us? Are we going to cry in 20 years that we have converted too much? As you know, the life on this planet came through the availability of the CO2 and oxygen. Now, we brought it from underground to overground, and now we are converting it overground. We are converting in a way, one condition to another. The technology, as we said, now we understood the promise of man being able to mutate materials. This new technology, which is going to be released and it will be shown in Mexico, coincides with my arrest when I went from Europe to go to Brazil to help the Brazil Gulf oil disaster. And it's appropriate time to be shown, an appropriate place for us to show. We go back to Mexico to complete what I started, what we call 10 years ago. Following that, once we can come to that point, Keshe Foundation in the coming months will release new technologies which will be added to plastic. We can convert, we have the technology to convert most of the plastics in the oceans into gas. But again, we add the carbon and the hydrogen level. How are we going to convert those? We have the technology, as I explained recently, to convert. This is a coffee machine running. We have to wait till it stops. Stop. So what we're going to do is to convert what we call into gas elements. But what damages that's going to bring? From now on, now that we have the knowledge and the technology of the plasma and the gas technology, every step we take has to be considered. What are the consequences and sequences of the change? We cannot anymore just do things and hope somebody will clean it up. If you are extracting CO2, what we call global warming, which is not, is due mainly to movement of the Earth toward the sun. If you are cleaning up the plastics, what are we going to do with the materials which we have changed to plastic? What is going to be this next sequence of it? Conversion of the plastic at this level, as we see in the oceans, will release huge amount of gas of carbon. Huge amount of hydrogen will be released. They bring new conditions. The of a carbon in the proximity of the oceans as we see them floating will create a new cycle of CO2. Then what are we going to do with it? How are we going to store these gases? How are we going to store these new materials? How are we going to convert them? One of my propositions to the government world leaders in the meetings we had with different organizations is, are we going to create what we call tank farms holding gases? In the long term, as I was present with one of the future world leaders in the past few days, I explained to him, he showed me the tank farms, and I said, we can do this with the gas. He said, this is the land available, let's do it. I said, but how are we going to convert and hold gases in tanks in such a massive quantities? What is the consequences for human race? Because they are huge energy sources. They are not anymore sitting there doing nothing. It's not oil anymore. These are what we have to plan now that we understand the technology of the future. It's not anymore if and when things might go wrong that we have to interfere. The new technology and the new science, which is developed by the Keshe Foundation around the world with different scientists, allows this to happen. Extraction of materials at will is in our command. Extraction of any material in space is in our command. We have gathered the knowledge, we have access to the technology, and now as we gather different fields in travel, in sport, for whatever we need, now we have translated that technology to be used on this planet. In the coming time, as I'll explain to some of the world leaders and governments, the mining, the way we do, is finished. Open cast mining, depth mining is over. The technology in the coming months will be released internationally. Keshe Foundation has entered in saving the planet through the new technology, and we will be ruthless in delivering it. The human body enhancement unit will be one of the smallest things the foundation will ever do. As we build up for the space development to be shown in Tehran in April, we release more radical technologies physically that it will be developed and it will be distributed by the Keshe Foundation Manufacturing Division from based around the world. So in a way, today's announcement is very simple. We are releasing a new technology, new system that extracts all the CO2 as much as you like, but we are not creating another problem. We're trying to create, to solve another one. What are we going to do with the extractions with cleaner cities? How are we preparing our people to go through what we call the reverse evolution, which has caused so many deaths, so many cancers, and now has to go through another process? And what would we create? in a coming time, the Keshe Foundation Research Centers will go through this evolution to develop these technologies. We start from January bringing the Keshe Foundation experts from all over the world in 2 or 3 centers. Scientists from Iran, scientists from China, scientists from all over the world, Brazil, from America, from Canada, will be brought into 1 or 2 centers, that the development becomes rapid. We have acquired properties and positions that allows us as a Keshe Foundation to move in this position. In due course, the Keshe Foundation will make announcements, as we said. By setting up, developing these technologies, we have become industrial power. And this will give us a new position and opportunities for environmental cleanup and everything else. We have, in past 48 hours, submitted a full dossier to one of the world leading governments in respect to cleanup of one of the most radical pollutions involving the nations, and in due course will be announced. We have entered a new phase. As much as we teach about the soul, we have to repair the physicality. And this planet has a soul and it needs to be corrected and have spiritual life. We have developed and now we're delivering what we call the body enhancement, which will change its name to the soul enhancement technology, where it's easier to enter and interact with the soul of the elements and the physicality of it as we enter the space technology. Many people information about different aspects of all the time. How do we do this? How can be done? What has happened? What can I do? Well, how can I make this and that? To this effect, we respond the following. From beginning of the next term of the KFSSI in January, every Friday, possibly half day, and if it picks up to a full day, 9 to 5, which can cover all the continents, all the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers, a question and answer session. Which means you have a problem you don't understand. Knowledge seekers collectively or through our experts in different fields will try to answer and solve the problems. There is one point which I have mentioned and brought to the attention of the Keshe Foundation team is very simple. We are not allowing people to come in and claim there are professors at Keshe Foundation, they do this, they do that. This platform will run that collectively everybody shares knowledge, answering questions, and not one person is correct. So we allow different views, different knowledge seekers with different expertise to come in and to show what they can do, what they think of it, how do they do it, what is the new insight. This goes with what the KFSI education from January will come into. We do not go in teaching answers and whatever. We go through collective teams to develop new systems, new insights into all aspects. So it goes in a way, KFSSI, into a research, and while you're developing something to achieve something collectively as different groups, you learn what you haven't learned from other parts. It's easier this way than people coming in and talking about the gas. For example, if you come up with a new system for cleaning water, and then you set up to do it, the Keshe Foundation Research Centers will connect to you, and so the knowledge seekers online, Zoom, or they can come to the research centers for a while to develop what they were discussing. We are transferring the research and development from KFSSI directly to all of you. No respect. As I said, we are not allowed to peer review. We are allowed to encourage to develop. And the only thing is, if it's too much crazy ideas, we need too many crazy people to prove crazily it works. So try to collectively as students and knowledge seekers to come together from the next term, enroll yourself in, and start enhancing your interest. You don't come in and sit to the others just telling you what to make answers. We want you to collectively come together and start putting ideas how this technology can evolve into anything that two, three, maybe 5 or 10 people want to work together to develop it. And you're given an opportunity of free, what we call the labs, which are getting developed. And then you have the opportunity even to take it into be able to deliver for other people to benefit by it. This is substantially different than what we've done before, because it's become, oh, you gases, you do this and you do that, you nano coat it, you do it backwards. We've done enough of that. There's enough literature on what rooms and different type of. Now we're going into part of converting the knowledge into practicality. And as we said, we don't give no degrees in KFSSI, but if you can achieve to change things for humanity, even for one man with what you make, that makes a lot, and that will be part of our work. On the other hand, as you are aware, we had to shrink the Keshe Foundation store because of the situation in Italy. The knowledge seekers from next week, we get the new opportunity with the new products which will come into Keshe Foundation shop, hopefully by next Thursday. This brings in all the items which we had before, and the prices, as we promised, will be kept at about €9.99 or €19.99. You don't need to pay 100 and odd euro or 50 euro, 60 euro to different people to buy. You buy everything at $9.99. Delivery, everything will have American certification and European certification. We have secured the technology systems that all our products from next week will carry both the American certification and European certification that can be shipped to anywhere around the world. The American store, US, will be merged into the total Keshe Foundation website. So we don't have the separation. As the Keshe Foundation has separated with Global, Global has nothing to do with the Keshe Foundation products. And we bring, as we close the, what we call KEF US down to become, and we take over as a Keshe Foundation, we bring everything back in order to the Keshe Foundation as KEF US, what we call Global, has to do its own operation, and Keshe Foundation is the owner of the website, and it's been for years. So we offer the products through the Keshe Foundation website as of next week. We hope to release between 30 plus items, and the following months we increase this to 300 units. So you see all the pain pads, all the what we call ankle patches and everything else, around about $9.99, $19.99. You will see the return of many things which was, and it was what we call taken off the Keshe Foundation through the operation of Italian, what we call reception. Now will come in a bigger way with a range of colors and everything else, and we can reduce the prices to half of that if need be. This goes back to our distributors who were cheated and moved on to the Italian operation. In the next few days, the head of the Keshe Foundation will call all the distributors into a meeting. You have to make a very clear choice. You work with the Keshe Foundation as you were the Keshe Foundation and you were taken out, or you stick with the people you went to and we close your account. This is very straightforward till the situation with the Italian organization is sorted with the central government of Italy, how they're going to handle such a work. We have to be very correct, and so we thought we'll disconnect and literally close all the distributors' accounts who went to what we found out they were cheated, they were lied to, and many of them come back to us, and we understand this position. We have to be correct, and at the same time, in setting up these new parameters, we encourage our distributors to become, in a very large scale, much more bigger operatives. In a way, if you think you can do sell for the foundation's products, we encourage you, we set you up in a different way, and we allow you, we would like to extend the sale of these bigger units to what we call different publics, different groups, different hospitals, and we train the new distributors or the old distributors to make a new management distribution. In a way, we are not going out to find sales group. We are using the existing Keshe Foundation people who stay loyal to the foundation to work and build their own sales team group internationally. Keshe Foundation has to grow within. And many people made a lot of effort to do this over years. And one rogue affair does not mean everything is lost. We allow the distributors to meet. You receive a call from the Keshe Foundation, head of Keshe Foundation, next few days to come into this meeting. The plan is very clear. Those who work with the foundation, follow the ethos of the foundation, will be supported by the foundation. And we want to increase, we want to develop the culture of the Keshe Foundation, GANs and other products internationally through our distributors. We are now setting up another parallel for those who work locally. We will announce this in the due course when it's settled. So in a way, we are looking to those who are distributors for the Keshe Foundation to set up a management of distribution and a sales team for the Keshe Foundation worldwide. Otherwise, we have to go outside to bring people from outside. And we see when we bring people from outside, the cheating and the lying we saw in Italy. They were not knowledge seekers. They were brought in and they thought they took opportunity. But Italian officials look at it totally different. They thought away with it. But criminality is shining all over it. And the Italian government has taken a very, very serious view in this matter because they need a Keshe Foundation for something else in the structure which can affect Italian, what we call position internationally. We are not taking the nation to any point. We are taking it to the nation that will be profitable and comfortable for both. So as you can see, we are bringing, centralizing everything as Keshe Foundation and not the global. Global operation has to go through its own way and the structure it has. In this way, as I said, the shop will increase rapidly from next week. They're doing the catalog and the translation of it that you can have in different translations. Certification, European certification, American certification will come with all the products. Delivery will be very rapid. We're holding a massive stock. They're available for dispatch. And at the same time, we centralize everything in China has become and has become a center point of work of the Keshe Foundation. And in way we hold our storage depots in China and we distribute from China, which is easy for us to do. And the knowledge seekers in China have supported us to achieve this point and we'll carry on with the same process. As you saw before, there was delay in deliveries for specific reasons that to discredit the foundation. That has already been sorted. We have structured everything back into order and we bring everything on the banner of totally be controlled by the Keshe Foundation Austria. Keshe Foundation Austria has become the center point and the work of the Keshe Foundation worldwide, but the operation will move into Malta in 2020. These are announcements we had to make because I think the global warming and the conference was important for us to know These new machines will be seen in and will go in Mexico. And as our team are working in different angles, we will announce a new research center which will be opened very soon. We are in a negotiation part. Hopefully by the end of this month, we will complete it, and it will become part. Already informed our people. We will be requesting 3, maybe 5 top Iranian scientists to join us in this research center. The same from the American side. We are not looking for knowledge seekers who are enthusiasts. These are scientists. These are literally what will work with the Keshe Foundation technology in universities and other parts. You are bringing no knowledge is bad. Every knowledge, we just got to see how we can amalgamate it, bring it in, and giving the scientists a groundwork that they can enhance it. I met with a beautiful scientist from Iran in my visit in Dubai last week. They have developed a new technology, a fire extinguisher. We've seen this in other parts, but they're trying to merge it with the gas technology. We support it. And as I've said to them, we'll enhance this program. If it is what it shows to be, the Keshe Foundation research availability and what we call commercialization is available to them. We have other scientists from the world who practicality of how it can be done. Many Chinese scientists are doing the same. We start supporting this. Somebody's microphone is open.
Yeah, that's me,
There,
Mr. Keshe.
we have Americans. We have.
We missed just part of the sentence there.
Pardon?
Just before you mentioned about the Chinese, that we missed a sentence there about how the scientists were going to do something, and that we missed that connection there between when you talked about the Chinese.
Did you hear about the Iranians?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So the scientists who develop different technologies will give them room to see how we can merge it with the plasma and gas technology. As I said from the beginning of the time, when we started the Keshe Foundation, the present knowledge is built on the past achievements of human race. We are not something off the ground, just ourselves. We have built knowledge on the knowledge of our own fathers and forefathers. So we have to respect this, and we have to develop this in the correct way. So we build on the knowledge which you have gained in universities, in your work. And if it's practical, if it can be done, if we can support it, we bring it out and we support you to extend the knowledge to be able to bring new technologies out. This technology is not just the gas of CO2 or the others. The scientists in Iran are working heavily in agriculture and other parts, and those who don't understand it, they claim there is something wrong, because actually when I look some of the scientists, especially in Iran, do their job, is laughable because they haven't understood and they claim a lot. And if they understood it and they've done it properly, they will see how correct it is. But they have to learn, do not spoon feed more. Blueprinting and people copying, and then succeed, keep quiet, and those who do not understand, then they blame for their own lack of understanding. These kind of processes with us has come to an end. As I said, we have moved in different ways, and we will develop new ways. You will hear some new announcements who might surprise you, that the Keshe Foundation will release the book number 4 in a very short time, in 2020. Book number 8, in conjunction with a new patent, will be released. As you know, We release the pattern to be published by world pattern for us freely, that everybody get access to it. We are now patterning it to lock. So in so many ways, as I said, we are returning back to Belgium very soon. For that reason, we are releasing the books. Keshe Foundation book number 4, The Creation of the Solar System, will be released in 2020. And all the diagrams, all the, what we call the book, will be more than what was done originally. We added more chapters to it. The pattern for the creation of magnetic field, the origin of magnetic field, the book number 8, will be published. As you know, the book number 9, the soul, was collected in all the teachings in part by Sandor during his lifetime. We thank. We are now in possession of all the documents, and these will be changed as part of the teaching. Sandor at the time when he was collecting, and other knowledge seekers at the book number 9. The only question is how we're going to demonstrate the soul of the man. Said book number 4 will be published in 2020, The Creation of Solar System. In much more depth, you'll understand more. Book number 8 will be done. This is one of the reasons I'm withdrawing from public life, and to concentrate to be able to do more research and more development. The Keshe Foundation and the others will take over. That it allows us to contribute as much as possible while we're on this planet, that it can enhance the knowledge of man. We invite Red Circle, if he likes, to come and complete the pictures on the platform number 4, book number 4. We welcome him. Whatever he's done is his. That's what we do with him. Outside is that he's been a good illustrator for it. He's invited back to work with us to finish book number 4 because he understands it fully. The same way he has the intellect to write the pattern for the creation of the what we call magnetic fields. We invite you back if you want to write the patterns to collaboration the same as before. In Keshe Foundation, we don't keep enemies. We keep those to understand what the enemy themselves are. In this process, number of books will we start releasing in what we call book number 5 and 6. We don't work in the background, we work directly. So in a way, whatever those who want to be involved in the what we call the graphics of book number 4, and those who want to be involved in the patterns of the creation of magnetic fields, which goes back to essence of the creation of the creator. We are opening that door in 2020. I'll put more time in that, as now the technologies are getting developed and what we call marketed by the Keshe Foundation team. So in a very simple way, that for essence, if you want to do the illustration for book number 4, we can do it. We don't need to go back onto anything else. At the same time, you're a good pattern writer, and the creation of the what we call magnetic fields will be a good place to complete the full what we started years ago. This is part of working the way people and it's time to complete the cycle. As I said, by March 2021, I will leave the Keshe Foundation operation totally. And all these things has to be completed by the next 18 months. In directions and work to complete the full knowledge and technologies that mankind has enough to build on, that will not fall in the traps of the past to be controlled by those who call themselves religious leaders or hold the key to the door of a mosque, a church, or a synagogue. We open all the doors to complete the knowledge, and those who have contributed to us more will appreciate it, how this technology will take shape in much, much deeper shape and form. Now that we have understood and completed most part of the research. This is a part work that has to be completed for mankind to become knowledgeable, to enter the final phase of what we call distribution and understanding of the knowledge, that in a space we don't become slaves. The slaves to no one except own ignorance. And if we do not understand it, there has to have a meeting, what we call a way, has a process that it reaches that point, and is not magic, and is not that we have to show. As I said many, many times, I will not show any magic, because the time of magicians in the name of profit to raise dead, to make blind man to see, is all over. Because now we have raised the soul of the man to understand the totality, that the physicality is part of his operation. And this is what the changes will come. This is what the process will add up to all our knowledge. In the process of the teaching, we have to understand, teaching will never end. A man who says who knows all of it is the man who knows none of it. Because if he knew knows none, he would not claim. We just share knowledge. That's why we call them knowledge seekers. And we invite everyone to come and join and share. As I said, we are making it possible for all nations, all governments to be involved as part of our work and part of our, what we call, process. We will announce in the coming time clinical trials which has started with universities for diseases like Parkinson, all the brain diseases. We have signed an agreement in a few days, and hopefully within next week or so, as it gets its final shape, we announce the clinical, one of the largest clinical trial for properly evaluating and developing a pattern understanding of the whole process. In the coming time, in a space, as we cannot take doctors, we have to develop technologies which can diagnose the disease, or we go through the balance of the soul through the universal enhancement system, that once you go into the system, the body enhances to what it had to be perfect. One of the important points about the enhancement unit is that it's a space unit. In a space, we suffer from viruses, from the energy packs. And this system is set to extract any additional or depleting virus system. The enhancement unit is a space technology unit, and this is what many of you will come to realize. This is why the system works so beautifully more with the soul of the man than the physicality of the man. The soul of the man is an energy pack independent of amino acid strength in a physical dimension. As I said, step by step in different teachings, I open up the truth about the universal system, the enhancement unit. This is why the enhancement unit, the new system, is so vital to be utilized internationally very rapidly. Because in the dimension of this system, we do not interfere so much with the physicality, but the system as is in the plasma and is set to the amino acid, the strength of the man, it keeps steady, continuous, the same strength. So any addition, as is stronger in feeding it, it depletes itself. At the same time, if there is any reduction, it gets elevated by the system. So in a way, the system, the enhancement unit, is not as you thought at the beginning. You go in there and you get Parkinson, you get corrected, and then you go, you don't have. The Parkinson comes from the space gap in the energy of what we call emotion and physicality. And the system balances it, and then you see it. You should have understood this when you saw the man standing up after 2 days, 3 days using the enhancement unit in China without any physiotherapy, without anything else, without actually doing anything, by just enhancing the soul in the system. The physicality just followed. The new technology, the new space technology, this is what we'll do. If you go into a system and you come out of the system with a cancer, you go in, you come out without the cancer, is emotional. You'll find out it's the soul of the man which sorts it out. But if you go through the evolution cancer, you're talking about the interaction of the soul of the man in the dimension of physicality with the soul of the planet to adjust each other, that they can accommodate each other, that one can live with the changes with the physical dimension of the planet. In the new system, in what we call the universal system, we consider the soul of the planet in respect to the soul of the man. In that process, most what we call evolution will find a position to accommodate each other that does not lead to the demise of the man. Now you understand more what is universal systems are set to do. The whole process is not just making you to be better or not a cancer. The universal system in a position of not use will be used for different aspects of the health of the body of the man, for feeding the man and the rest. In so many ways, what we see in the coming years, as we say in English, why the Pakistanis never win a World Cup is because every corner they find, they open a shop. Very soon, in every corner on this planet, you will find an enhancement unit. People going to feed, people don't feel good, people want something, it'll become as normal as anything else. And this will take a lot of changes to the human race. This brings us a lot of changes to human race. That we do not to worry about where the food comes from. We do not to worry where the material comes from. We do not to worry where the shelter comes from. This is part of the same process. And we need to go through this phase to become what we call a true human race. People who understand it. People who not only look after their own physicality and their soul, they look after the soul of the planet, and in turn, collectively, we change the planet. And as more and more these systems are launched in space technology, by cleaning up the body of the man, by Mexico, by cleaning up the damage we've done to this planet, by ourselves, and then we will explain to you what mankind has done in a level that you don't even know, that we extend the process of what we call rehabilitation. The new enhanced technology, the new enhancement system, is in reality a total system that mankind has to gradually learn to be and to live with. As I was explaining to a number of knowledge seekers in past few weeks, if you look at the internal shape of the enhancement unit, has the shape of the universe. It's not a sphere inside, it's oval inside. And in so many ways, when you take it by ratio, it's a copy of our universe. And if you look the soul of the man, physicality of the man, if flat is the central line of the universe, creates balances of the energy. When we put man in an upright position, we create the same condition through the soul of the man. We call it the womb of the universe, not the womb of the mother. The universe is the womb where all and everything has been created. And when you look at the systems which is planted around it, these are like other universes affecting its work internally. In a way, when you look at the shell of the system, is a unicos, collection of different universes creating interacting fields inside. And inside, in responding to order to balance, it balances the body and the soul of the man. The new enhancement systems are replication of the creation of the creator. That's why we release the pattern, the book on the creation of the magnetic fields, on the creation of life in the universe by the creator. This process had to be brought to mankind this way, that it was in a step and in gradual steps. When you enter the enhancement unit, you will see satellites. And at the same time, you become part of the whole structure. Your soul has to find balance with itself and with the dimension of the universe. Soon mankind will understand. When we call it a universal system, does not mean applies to everything. It's a copy of the universe itself. And in that process, the body finds balance in every aspect. When mankind become wise enough and understand, looking at it, when you sit a man inside, it'll be like a solar system in the galaxy of the universe. It will shine on its own as a star. The new enhancement unit is not what you thought. The new enhancement unit is a copy, a replication of the true life ignition and the start of the life as what we call the God, the Creator.
Sorry, we missed that line, Mr. Keshe. You said the new enhancement unit will
be a copy of exact replica of the universe. It is exactly what we expect from a life in the universe. It's a copy of the replication of the creation, where the Creator started the whole life. We call him God, we call him our whatever. But in the pattern to be released and in the book to be released, in conjunction with the universal system, mankind will come to understand what I have given. We use the ways of the universe to interact with the ways of the physicality of the man. And in this process, we create many, many new conditions, many new lives, many understanding for the man himself. Thou shalt not steal. You will understand very soon in these systems. No one can steal, not even from the universe. The, Understanding of the motion of magnetic fields in the space of the universe leads to creation of new lives. And in so many ways, we do not have a GPS to know where the position is where we want to go. But with the new enhancement units, the technologies which is developed, mankind can position himself anywhere in the universe. We do not need to put satellites everywhere to find where we are. We use the knowledge and the connections of what we have developed to position ourselves in any position in the universe. Creation of the motion, creation of life, and understanding how life will look in that position will become part of the work of the Keshe Foundation Knowledge Seekers and Research Centers in coming months and days. We have to understand how did magnetic field started. What is its origin? What led to the creation of fields? Even if there is a creator we call a God, even if we led ourselves to that path of belief, it has to have a position. It has to have a field direction. And the question now becomes the situation between egg and sperm. Did the egg and the sperm came first, or did the soul of the man first? Or the interaction of the fields of the egg and the sperm led to the creation of the soul, which led to the creation of man? This question sits the same with the creator. Did the soul of the creator, which led to the creation of the universe, came from interaction of the fields? That through those fundamental structure of the field led to the creation of the creator, the soul of the creator, that itself led to the creation of the physicality of the creator, what we call God, which is the universe we see. In the coming time, in the books to be released and into what we call way to release it around the world as patterned, which is the easiest way to share knowledge for the human race, we bring this question to an end. It's not a matter of did the chicken come first or the egg. It's a matter of what led to the creation of the egg or the chicken. This is what we have to understand. And as you know, many foreigners have a problem with the kitchen and the chicken. Now we have to understand, did we create the kitchen that they allowed and created a condition for the chicken to be born? Did the fields lead to the creation of the creator? But the question comes, where did the fields come from? Or is the life of a man nothing but a hallucination, a mirage, a phantom? These questions, if mankind answers before his step in the universal, what we call arena, he will come to understand that he's equal to all other creatures of the universe that know higher, but they understood more. Now he understands more that he cannot be magic. There is a huge problem in many cultures, in African cultures, in Middle Eastern cultures, in part of what we call South America, in part of Asia, that people would not even give a cut of the hair to you because they say you can use it to control us. They believe in what we call black magic because they can control and do this and that. Would this have a position in a way that those who understood the access to the soul of the man, or do they control the imagination of the man to create what the man wants to see? As I was talking to a friend of ours recently, they control people through black magic. But the darkness and blackness of the magic is the man's lack of understanding of the totality of his own soul. And then would and can we enhance the soul of the man that he cannot be abused this way? Who's going to do to you the black magic or the white magic or rainbow magic in the universe, and you believe in it because he can do something, but he has learned a trick? These are the fundamental questions that we have to answer with the present knowledge, and with it take mankind into the dimensions of the new space technology. In so many ways, where does the essence of the soul of the man comes from? And how can some of us get access, have access, or develop access to a higher order that we can make it magic for those who are in the lower order? How can we set up systems that uses the higher level of the whole structure of the universal magnetic gravitational fields? Where does mankind lead himself through his soul, not through his physicality? We had a very, very interesting, what we call encounter in our meeting or in our visit to Istanbul a couple of weeks ago. As you know, you can join what we call different kind of shows on Bosphorus, on the river. We were joined with hundreds of other people, and on this venture, each nationality had a flag on the table. There were the Jewish people, there were the Bulgarians, there were the Chinese, there were the Iranians, there were the Japanese, there were the Saudis. From every culture, every flag was on the table to show which part of this planet you come from. But all hundreds of them were concentrated on what was there to be a joyful night. It was very interesting. Very, very interesting thing happened. And it was part of, I sit as an outside observer and look at the conduct of the man. At the table we were sitting, I was the Iranian, I had the flag of Iran. Behind me there was a table of Iranians. On the edge of our table, there were a Saudi couple. And then joined another Saudi couple with the flags of Saudi Arabia on the table. A space gap of 2 chairs. And then the other side were mainly 6, 7 rows of Jewish people. When the program started, you have to understand there is a subconscious mentality. You can't put the Saudis, the Iranians, and the Jews together. There's going to be a mayhem. And when the function starts going, and these people are expert. They know this is what is the function. They emphasize that every nationality comes out, dances to their own music, sings their own music, that it brings a unification. All people understand a little bit, trying to calm the situation. But the strangest thing happened is the Saudis felt outcast and they asked to be moved from the room. So the 4 Saudis moved out because they couldn't sit on the table with the Iranian and then with the Jews on the other side. This is the mental lock. This is what is going to happen to the mankind in this space, if you understand the logic behind it. When the music started and the dancing started, the Iranians, the Jews came in on the floor with a flag of Israel, because there was a lot of them. What I did, I took the Iranian flag and I joined them, and I gave the flag of Iran in exchange for their flag. They hesitated, and then they took the flag and they gave a flag, and we both kissed the flag. And then the Iranians and the Jews, you didn't know anymore. Accidentally, one of the Iranians was a beautiful, perfect dancer, and the Jews wouldn't let him go. What we saw was mankind loving each other. The color of flag. And the beauty of it was, they were all eating non-kosher food and a non-halal food. And none of them cared, because they start eating from each other. They start dancing with each other. In the space, we'll have the same position. We need to dance with citizens of the universe. As long as they don't care fear in us. If they create that fear, mankind will go into space the same way. And those who choose to be outcasts will create a problem for themselves. In space, in the dimension of universe, the soul of the man should shine as an example of his planet and the soul of his creatures, irrespective of color, race, and the path of belief. What we learned is very simple. Would mankind mature so fast to get to that point? Or would mankind still be tormented by those who want to abuse him for his development of his soul? Or would mankind have a fear to go into the system that become equal to the others? Very interesting will be that what happens when we put these systems for the world leaders and the common man to go in together. Would a soul bow to the other, that you're a soul of a king? Or would the king bow to the soul of the father? that you feed me. My existence is because of you. Let me understand how we have to behave in the space technology of today and in what is coming up. My words will be understood by mankind very soon. As I said to one of my very close friends, I'm sending a unit to the city of Brussels for the kings to walk in first, to lead their nation. I wonder what excuses they find not to enter it. And one will be gifted to Vatican, and we'll see if the Holy Father will let his flock in. And would they come out as they went in? Remember when we gave the key to the nations, to the governments, we announced it. As we send these units to the governments and the world religious leaders, we announce it. And it's for public to see them, how they come out. Would they go in for their illnesses, or would they go in and come up as new men? I wonder who would refuse the gift of elevation of his soul, the priest or the prisoner. The one whose soul was prisoned by the priest for centuries. I wonder if the Islamic leaders will refuse to enter, and what excuses they find not to enter. As I said, I'm a good teacher and I know how to work and how to teach. When we give these systems to the world leaders, to the nations, the leaders of the nation have to walk in through it first. As I said last time, the days are numbered. Around about 25th of January, we will show the first units. And in February, we'll get the world leaders to walk in. And let's see. Now you understand why some world leaders are planning their application. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We did have a question earlier from Dan in the Q&A. He mentions the Romanian government has no solution for water contamination by sea vessels, such as dead ships, I believe he means. How can we help?
This problem exists for many nations. There's problems of sea contamination, especially oil contamination when they wash their tankers in the open spans of the what do you call open seas, and it gets washed into different areas from different countries, um, and from shipwrecks is something which we have created, and there is a solution for it. It's not just the Romanians. You have it heavily in the Gulf of Mexico. You have it heavily in Persian Gulf. You have it in anywhere there is oil export. Because if you've been in the oil industry, you know what they have to do. They have to wash their tanks from anything else because of they create gases inside and lead to explosion. If they have a different mixture of the oil, they have to be cleaned up. And they dump it in the ocean and it just washes into some shore sometimes, and we see some accidents before. This with the new technology is recoverable. But as I said, from now on, when we go into the recovery mode, we have to consider something else. What and how long that damage has been there, and what has created as a new lifestyle. Romanian officials don't like to work with what we call pig flow, because uh, part of the officials' income from EU is so good, why should they? A lot of people have to understand the position of world leaders. Their bank account is more important than their nations. The position of power is more than the what we call the nation's health. At the moment, why European community governments who are facing this big flu are not doing anything, because the subsidies are very good. And a few people, decision makers, are making good money from it. Some of it is deliberately introduced. We saw people who go because then they can get what they want from it. They create uprising and all sorts to be done. We've seen the announcement of the change of governments to the things in Iraq in the past few days, the announcing of resignation, the same in Malta, the same in other countries. We saw the deliberate setup of a revolution, a secondary revolution in Iran 2 weeks ago, where they burned the bank. And everybody thought it's going to be there. But it was the cleverness of the government, understanding that there was a setup revolution to come up later on, and they created a false uprising. And those who were really the creators were waiting to create the biggest revolution in Iran. They thought they come in, they do it, they captured the whole lot of them. People didn't understand 2 weeks ago when there was announcement in Iran, this burning the banks. As I said, we are very clever people. We did the same thing with those who we said that we are going, and they made all the calls. Now we know who they are, and we use their calls and their evidence in the Human Court of Justice. The same thing happened in Iran. The officials became aware of a massive finance from outside, mainly by Vatican, to start a revolution in Iran, and they transferred huge amount of money into Tehran and to all the cities. They paid the rogues, what we call the thieves, the bandits, to create that revolution. And the central government became aware of it. And they set up the few burning of the banks that these thought that other have started. They came out and they captured the whole lot. That's why you heard about the end of it sudden night. And all the internets were closed the way they were supposed to receive instructions from the Vatican and America. People have to become clever, understanding the work of the nations and governments and how they do not allow manipulation anymore. This is why 2 weeks ago I announced clearly my solidarity with the nation of Iran, that we don't enter politics, because they wanted to pull the foundation into it, and we were fully aware of what was going on. I don't talk out of place. I talk because it's the place for it to talk. loyal to the nation of Iran. And as I said, we always work with those who are elected to be the rulers. We don't work with the opposition. We work with those who are in power to rule for the benefit of their nations, and through elevating their souls, they elevate themselves to bring a good nation up. I support Iranian technology across in all my negotiations. Where Iran can export the technology, I support it. I'm there to do it, not only for Iran. I do the same thing with Chinese. I do the same with Austrians. To me, all the nations are one. And in Romania, we see, because we negotiated with the government, Keshe Foundation, the knowledge seekers and member of Universal Council know how we talk to your government. And we were told internally through our securities, there is too much money in the background. You just they don't want to do it because some people are getting very well paid. In Romania, we know exactly what's going on because the team of Romania, they set up the meetings with at the highest level. Secretary of States we spoke to. Collectively, even if we try to do cleanup, is not to benefit of some. And you see, wherever the resistance come is because somebody's pocket is getting a bit less lubricated.
I think you said any other questions, Mr. Keshe? And yes, we have a question.
Yes.
Yes, from Svetoslav. I think he had the question last week, but didn't get it in, perhaps. He says, what kind of, and actually this question a lot of people do have, especially experimenters, but lots of others. So the question is, with what kind of device can measure the fields of a plasma, their type and their strength? Thank you.
At the moment, the plasma we make, there is no measurement tools for it. Unless you, as I said, create the system which we developed years ago. You need a system that is more or less, it can take 6-axis field of magnetic field, that it gives you a spherical image. Then you have to work on a high level, what we call frequency, and very low level frequency, that you get a full spectrum of the ball of the plasma, and you get the guidelines. There are people who say they can measure the plasma, there are tools for it that you can change it, but the plasma as a plasma of gans need to be considered as a spherical condition, not at the point of interaction. Which field strength spectrum you want to measure. It's very much like if you look at the planet Earth, are you drilling in 2 meter deep from the surface, or 50 meter deep, or 5 kilometer deep? As you go deeper, the field's strength will change. And which gravity gets to where? Why do this is the condition that we don't have the tools for it yet, but we are developing the tools for it. But we have developed tools to measure fields to give us a kind of a spectrum. In the the field detectors which we use in the research center Keshe Foundation, we have X, Y, and Z. So we see which way the fields are coming to the detectors. And then we have an average common field change to the total field within that detector. We measure a spherical condition at a pinpoint accuracy of few centimeters from each other. Then we put a high and a low detectors. The other, that it gives us a spherical shape, that what stronger fields are coming in which direction, and what weaker fields come in direction. A lot of knowledge seekers who work with me, they've seen me use these two detectors. One is creamish color, grayish color, one is black. And we monitor the two. They usually at the top figures, but the way I look at the axis of this, does it Z with the other Z? Then it shows me the field is coming into at the weaker point. We have a replication of the what we call universal system in the lab. And we try to measure the fields, connect the systems in a way that will measure the fields interaction. And then we measure it independently. If you have the tools which we have created, and these tools are literally not a much more efficient way to do it. It gives us a spherical image, but it depends how you interpret and understand the figures. Because humans use to see, but when you use these.
Sorry, you broke up there, Mr. Keshe. How you interpret
coming,
the figures. It depends on how you.
Yeah, there's a figures on the. How you interpret the figures gives you the strength of the field of the plasma you're looking for. A lot of teaching needs to be done to read these figures. Because to you, oh, the high one is very high and the low one is, going positive or negative or whatever. This shows a high energy field is in the direction of where you set up, and or is it releasing the weak one, or is it the weak one causing the the machine, the system which Dr. Keshe Foundation years ago, that's the system which we measured 129 with it. It's very simple software. The simple body called detectors. You can literally buy the software and the hardware off the shelf. But what it makes it difficult is, before, the companies which what we call commission to make this for us is, and the parameters which I wanted, they rent a hospital MRI for several nights. It costs a lot of money. You go for an X-ray, how much they charge you. At night when the MRI system is not used, they use the hospital MRI, they pay for it. And they create all the levels of the magnetic fields in MRI, and they calibrate the system. The process of calibration takes a long time. But each detector and collective detector in calibration comes into play, and they write the programs for it. And if you don't have that, one of the easiest way is tune yourself to the field and see how you feel. What is because very recently, they say when I hold my hand around the gans or around the ball, I feel warmth and I feel this. I said, where do you feel warmth? Where do you feel cold? The palm of your hand or the back of your hand or middle of your flesh. Is the field coming from the core, which hits you up, or the back? And then you make senses, you make evaluation of the emotion of the field. Many people have worked with cancers, understanding them is just too, so then it is. Those who understand the emotion and the motion of the fields are the true knowledge seekers who understood the work. And he allows them and they interacts with that emotion. They interacts with the understanding of it because they pass the position of physicality, work through the essence of the motion of the fields. 99% of the knowledge seekers have the capability to sense it. But they sit and watch the core. Is it moving? How fast is moving? Is anything moving anywhere? Otherwise I don't believe it. But if you understood the work of the plasma, you should feel it. Many knowledge seekers who reach that level, they work that way. They feel, they work with their feeling. They don't see anything. So it means you are still physical. You still need something for me to go and buy you a detector to see it. And then if the numbers is what you like, then the answer is there. We had this in the city of Kerman with the scientists from the university past few weeks. They went and they used the wrong gas for a wrong thing. And then they blame, oh, this is fake, doesn't work. And I looked at it and said, what a shame. You're university students, you're scientists, and you haven't even listened to teaching. You give me 2 minutes, I show you how it works. You have to start moving away from instruments. Those are matter states, and in the plasma field, if you can feel the fields, you can react to the fields, then you start in understanding the emotion and the soul of the man, how you, because now you pass the physicality. You feel it inside you. I taught you very, very earlier on, a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, about the stereo system with your head. To find the position of the soul of the man, and then new systems, and then you will see new systems coming up that you can dictate your emotions to the systems. I was explaining to knowledge seekers in the past few weeks, the new enhancement system you see, we have to give it to the nurses or the doctors to press buttons that are accepting they can do, but there are systems for those who have elevated to the point that they can use it, control it, without ever going to the control panel. You have, as I said, to move away from gadgets. The best measuring tool is mankind himself. You carry the soul, you carry the counterbalance to every other soul. It's you who has to learn. And your emotion is your detection, confirmation, is your monitor. You don't need the new plasma technology can be shown in the present monitoring system, which we are used to convert it to digital analog, that you can see it. You will understand this very soon. Once you start working with these gases, with these plasma systems, with understanding more of you entering into this, hopefully, the KFSSI education on a weekly basis on what we call to become students to develop new technologies, and you start learning each other's language and school of thoughts and knowledge, then you will see what is and what is possible, how you can develop. Why don't some of you join together and develop a system for detectors of fields in the level of the soul? I wonder how many of you will join to unravel the secrets of Maghreb. One of the most beautiful souls in the foundation has worked around it, but he doesn't have the scientific knowledge. But he has understood the true essence of it is Alex. Alex has understood, he sees the feature of the fields. He understands what it is to be done. He's never been in a what they call scientific world, but he understood the essence of the field. And he plays everything together, but he doesn't know how to flick the last figure. Because the knowledge of the understanding of the fields is with him, but he cannot translate into physical dimension. If you ever seen the soul of Alex, it shines like a star. The first time I saw him, it was just loving that soul. He's understood the knowledge. He feels it. He doesn't come from a scientific background. And if you reach to the level of what Alex does, Alex feels, he sees, he understands, a lot of you will jump with the joy that, you know, your soul has elevated so much you don't need to see things. Alex tries to bring the fields into physicality to show that it works. And a lot of you do the opposite and it doesn't work. You don't need the detector of the field has to be the soul of the man through the emotion. You feel danger, you don't go somewhere. Did you have a danger detector? You feel going somewhere and it feels good. Do you have a detector? Because you relied on the fields that you received. Mankind has to make that difference from now on. He's aware of it, he make a decision on it. Even if you put to, you can say, microhertz, millihertz. And what does it mean? Kilohertz, what does it mean? The higher frequencies you go, has mankind understood what it means? The higher frequencies you go, the more you go into materialistic world. Remember what I always said, plasma has no frequency. Plasma cannot have a frequency because it has nothing to fight to penetrate. It floats on the passage of the freedom of the waves of the fields of the universe. When you are a feather in the weather, the wind will take you wherever it wants. And the soul of the man, the energy of magnetic field of the man is that feather. When you become a car, when you become a bird, you have a resistance. Then you have to wiggle around it to find a way through it. You flap your wings more. So none of the knowledge seekers are, you don't listen. I teach very simple. Then you never ask, how do we find a detector? The detector of the fields in the space, oh, I have to go back to CERN to tell me what is the field of this, and if it works, then I come to the space planet Zeus and do it. As I said to one of the knowledge seekers very recently, Iran has wasted too much money in CERNs for the Iranian plasma physics learning nothing. As you know, one of the biggest contributors of CERN project is Iran. Amazing enough, when you go to a lot of universities, you see a lot of Iranian coming from Iran scientists in plasma and nanotechnology to teach and to work and to research. And the governments look at them, they bring some of the knowledge out of Iran that they can steal or work with. The process of the transfer of plasmatic field has to come through the soul of the man, and then you know the stress. You understand the process of conversion. Why does a field reduces in strength? Why do the fields interact in different strength and dimensions? Do you need a detector? Do you have a detector in your soul? It says don't go there, or this is the field strength of the mother or the father or the friend. Try to, if you're looking for a space development of the fields, try to understand the strength of the fields. And what does this strength mean to you, not to anybody else? As I said, many, many different colors of red, and we can all look at one picture and see each one of us those different colors, but we still say it's red. But if I measure the red in your eye and the red to the measure of the others, they are never the same, because you create different gravitational magnetic field strength in your blood, in the structure of the soul of the man, in the structure of the soul of your physicality. You can never see the red color the same as your child, your wife, or your friend, or another guy look as the same red. As I was saying recently, if you were in 1980s, 90s, as the British government was trying to get people just to get to university because there were so many illiterates in England, they allowed any kind of education. Anybody could get a degree. And one of the top universities in England created a degree course called Different Shades of White. You could actually degree on it, because each one looks at the same color, white, in different spectrum and different shades. And this is what we have to understand, what this shade means to us, what this red means to me. Because to my soul, to my strength of the circulation of my blood magnetic field, I see this spectrum of red, and this spectrum of red means to me joy. But to another could mean danger. The same color. If you look at, we say, the beautiful Spanish red. You've seen the Spanish woman wear the most gorgeous, warming red color. We have a slight different shade of it we see in the Chinese flag, and the Chinese wear for their wedding. It's a very slight difference, not the same. And it brings the condition of ruling. Associate that color with communism. You go to Africa, people wear red, but it's a different color of red, and it means mourning. But if you put the three next to each other, you see there is very slight difference with it. And different people have different emotion in respect to these colors. So it's for us to understand, is that red, we see the soul, is it mourning? Or is it celebrating a marriage? Or is celebrating a school of thought of communism? Or is it bringing up the language? That's why we created the Universal Council. gives us different understanding of, but respecting the totality. This is how we measure. There is no tool for measuring the field strength of plasma unless what that plasma field means to you from now on. Do you see that wave love, or do you see it as a hate? Do you see it as a danger or a welcome? But it's always about the same strength. If we stop digitalizing the field strength of the plasma, understand the emotion of the field, then we have actually achieved what we call universal dimension measurements of all the fields of the universe. If you remember, I always said when we were testing in Tehran, people don't understand. When I put the reactor running, I stood back and I watched people coming into the room and I saw how they bent and where they bent. Because the plasma field of the system interacted with their body, and they usually bend forward on the stomach because there's more liquid, the conversion is very fast. It's just somebody hands on your body, you just jump. And I could say, oh, this is now my 3-meter field, this is where I want. My measuring tool of the field was the humans coming into the laboratory. And you see this very clearly. So what kind of measurement tools you want? What do you want to measure? The strength of the soul or the strength of the color of red? Developing new tools with the soul cannot come with the physical tools anymore, now that we are aware of the totality. And it's very easy, you can teach the others to come. Any other question?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Swazislav had a following question that he was wondering, so one field, for example, the CO2 GANs can be 2, 3, or more fields in different directions, one by another? I guess
yes,
that would be certainly true. So would the detector
yes,
detect the resultant of all the fields at one particular point?
Yeah.
Or does it measure all the fields?
Yes. It measures at that point.
Mm-hmm. So that's why you have to do the 3-dimensional in order to see where the fields might be coming from or developing stronger and so on. It's hard to do from one particular point, perhaps.
It is, you can do an average of what it comes to, and you can see what it's taking and what it's giving. And you can visualize, you can answer people. If the new, it'd be nice if, what do you call it, the knowledge seekers, they create something like what we call a lie detector and see how the change of the field shows the truth about the man. Not as this temperature or whatever. Checking the environment of the room, what they do with the plants, but now at the strength of the soul of the man. It'll be very interesting how they develop it. But at the same time, a new fields, a new ways should be, how do we create what we call resistors, capacitors, and different kind of electronic things which we have created. We know what their function is in the dimension of the plasma. Because where you create the capacitor and where you create the interaction of the fields, or you use them as a diode, or as any other things, or as the resistors or transistors, or any kind of amplification. What happens if you do those with the fields of the GANs? Do we need electronics, or we need plasmatics? New systems coming up. And you can do it with a single GANs, it doesn't need to be a bucket. Any other question? Or we run
Okay,
out of questions?
Just a second here. I'll try to get things lined up. There was a question from G-Man on how do we get the training and authorization from KFSSI for the promotion and sales of the new units?
We are setting up a new, there was a, Kevin Blundell set up these contracts which are actually found that they're all, not put it this way. The contract set up by Kevin Blundell is all flawed, and in a way Keshe Foundation doesn't even stand responsible for it, for 2-3 reasons. In the contract it says Keshe Foundation, and then it's signed on the Italy, and then it's signed by Kevin Blundell, and Keshe Foundation is not in Italy. There's no Keshe Foundation in Italy. So this is all what we found out. A lot of things have gone. So a new contract is getting signed out according to the work, and all the agreements and contracts are with the Keshe Foundation Austria as the headquarters of the Keshe Foundation Operation Manufacturing at the moment. And then you can just go through the website. So you want to be a, what you call, sales, or be part of the sales team. You have expertise or knowledge about selling and understand the work of the fashion. And then you be brought in. The team is getting done. Let us meet with this. You come in as well, and it's very simple. You learn the knowledge as it is, you get trained by it, or you can train people to do. And it's a very straightforward. You have to transfer the knowledge of the soul and physicality. It's not selling a machine to change things. It's a different kind of approach. And same time, we are setting up a backup, a structure that can help the doctors and scientists to develop or to be able to operate the right way with these machines. Right, send your inquiries to the Keshe Foundation. Stanley, are you in the background? Where is the best place for them to send these things? Hello? Or Ella, are you in the background? Our team has been, what do you call it, jet lagged beyond in past few days. You got to realize that patient to patient how is run. And the team, since we've been in Brazil a few weeks ago, have traveled all over the world, and the whole lot suffer from a heavy jet lag. Nobody knows when it's a day or night. And what they call the management from all across this planet, more or less. Stanley, I can see him, is in the back, must be still there. We use a common, what you call, to at keshefoundation.org. The web at keshefoundation.org, and we'll respond back to you. And avenues you can contact the foundation if you want to sell or distributors, to be a distributor.
Mr. Keshe, on the in the Keshe store, in the KF store, it mentions under the Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, for any questions related to the Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, please email us at office@at.kfm.global. Would that be the correct address then?
You can send it there too, but that is to answer about, because a lot of people have a lot of questions, which this will be answered in the Friday question and answer sessions, that it doesn't go to other way. There will just be set up that the people who want to purchase, they have questions. Does it affect if I have a what do you call it, implants in my tooth, or if I have this and that, or how can it be used, what is the dimensions of it? We're answering most of these questions through that pattern, through that way. But you can send it through there for the time being. The foundation has, for the distributors, will set up a backup what they can do, the people who want to sell, or there is people, bunch of you wanting together. We prefer 3 system unit centers, which means there are at least 3 units in one center. We are encouraging and we are supporting that side. We will announce the establishment of a 20 unit center in Brazil, as we did before. And our target is to raise this unit, this center, to about 200 to 400 units in the next year, to make it one of the largest centers in South America. Then we are looking at in the what we call the United Arab Emirates establishment of the new center. We'll announce that very shortly. We have just got to complete a couple of things and then we announce it. There will be a, as we said, the center in Canada. We'll complete that very soon. So by the time we come to the end of January, at least between 10 to 20 centers around the world will be operational in January, February, March. And then we go into the larger scale operation, and the people who want to use the system or try the system. I'm not encouraging, and in the way the Keshe Foundation is not encouraging any single sale. We try to bring people together that they work as a group. There is going to be a conference in Brazil. We're trying to fix it for 12th of what we call December, next Thursday in the afternoon local time. We announce it. If you want to be, we just got to fix the venue in next 24 hours. If you want to be in this, it's a 4-hour, 5-hour literally conference to meet with all the knowledge seekers or government officials that understand more about the technology. This conference will be only by those who security cleared. And then as usual, you receive everything else. We were trying to do it on the 13th, but I don't do things on Friday 13th. And Saturday and Sunday is impossible for us to do. So we're looking at Thursday, the 12th of December for an afternoon conference. Is free entry. There is no fee to pay. And it's held by the Keshe Foundation for all the knowledge seekers in South America who want to be here, or Brazilian who want to be here. We try to accommodate it that way. And in the next few weeks, we announced the new establishment of the what we call health centers, manufacturing centers, and collaborations in different parts of Brazil and South America with the Keshe Foundation. The same goes for us with Middle East. The same goes out with China and other places. As I said, if you are knowledge seekers, a medical background as a doctor, the Keshe Foundation is recruiting heavily in the coming weeks with setting up of the centers to back up the sale of the what we call the health units, the universal units, that the doctors can be supported, what we call the new teaching can be supported to the users at the end. And at the same time, as I said, we are opening the new positions for manufacturing, especially in Austria. In Austria, in German speaking, and what they call non-German speaking. If you're from Czech Republic, which is easy for you, you're educated that side, looking for a job. These jobs are coming in line from January, hopefully. We are, most probably, we have completed negotiation for industrial manufacturing unit, hopefully in Austria very soon. And we prepare to have knowledge skills to understand, to carry on with the, what we call the ethos of the foundation. If you're from other part of Romania or Bulgaria, or who can move, or Germany, to be part of this evolution in technology, send your request to the Keshe Foundation. The structure is what we will be completing in the process of next, what they call, 6 weeks, hopefully. We are looking for at least a couple of hundred people to start at the beginning in this position. The same goes with Arizona, as Arizona Health Center has already been purchased by the, what we call the Keshe Foundation supporters, and it'll be operational from the health center hopefully by end of March, what they call it, end of January, February, when the units arrives there. These all, we prefer to have doctors who understand the foundation work than going to universities and recruiting direct from what we call fresh doctors, or bringing in other doctors from other fields who just want to have a job without understanding the totality of the knowledge. There are research positions available in Austria, and research, what they call, position available in United Arab Emirates very, very soon, for research into different aspects of the technology. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe?
Yes, we have a couple of people with their hands up, like Mr. Jalal here, for example. We call him Jumping
Hello, Mr. Jalal.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Good morning.
How are you? Are you happy now? Are you satisfied with the announcement from Iraq?
Unfortunately, I didn't hear it. I was at work and was very disturbing. And I will listen to it. And I think it's, when you announce it, it's good. As
We
always.
don't announce it, we just hear through the securities what is set up, that the new government will step down, or your government or prime minister will step down in the coming time, to allow for people to speak.
We send them, Mr. Keshe, all of us in Universal Council, we send them to be in peace, and they will be. They cannot escape our fields.
What is your question?
Now I have two. Okay. The conference, this is the second one. The conference in Brazil, it will be live streamed?
No, we do not live stream any of the conferences. We
You
don't
said,
even record them. We do not even record them.
Wait.
You haven't seen any pictures from us.
Okay, wait. You said it is free, public, and everyone can join.
Yes.
So when it's free and
no, you're
can...
not pushing us there. No way.
If
you're
okay.
there in Brazil in the conference. You see, when we started these conferences, we knew, and we set up, first of all, to be for knowledge seekers of that country, and to stop the mayhem of people traveling halfway around the world. To be few people travel from here to be present in some conferences from different continents and countries, but it's primarily is for those nationals to strengthen their what do you call it, their work. We saw what we saw last in Brazil when we were here 3 weeks ago. There was a need for a strengthening and developing this structure in this country because we were not aware of the facts here. And now that we got involved in, we see there's a lot of misconducts, there's a lot of good jobs done, and it's to bring them back together in balance. And I see quarrel between different knowledge seekers, just trying, hackling for who's done wrong, who's there. It's just like children, you know, giving it, oh, he did this, he did that to me. But collectively to find their mistakes, and they are there to support, to enhance the technology for part of the world. Then we go to Malta. The Malta's conference date has been brought one forward, the 17, 18, that can. And we are into Mexico. The Mexicans don't even organize these huge conferences, 300-400 people. It's limited. We can interact with the governments, we can interact with the diplomats. And this conference next week is mainly what they call government officials who heard about technology, they want to take it to the next step, and the Keshe Foundation's supporters to come in and to understand the work of their governments, their nations. And this is what we try to do.
I understand now.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
thank you.
If you want to come to Malta, we are in Malta. And if you want to come to, what do you call it, Mexico, the Indian conference has been put back for another one. The announcement will be there. The Moroccan has been put to May. We are moving these conferences in a way that we can have maximum effect and nourish to where we've been to, what do you call it, to help the Keshe Foundation supporters in this area where we are. And then it goes back in the hand of the local Keshe Foundation supporters. They have to enhance it, not just because something comes and goes, but it needs a structure which next year, next 2 years, will be set up in Malta as we move the whole headquarters of the operation to Malta. Then there's teachings, these all different parts of the Keshe Foundation that will be brought into under one cover.
Okay, coming to my first question. Are you hearing me, Mr. Keshe?
Yes.
Okay. Yesterday, we have a teaching, and we discuss the systems which is embedded in the body, which convert matter to fields and then fields to matter. And this is the lungs and the digestion system. And there is one system which convert field to matter. And this system, I cannot announce the name correctly of it, which make the egg and the sperm. Is that correct?
Try to
Mr. Keshe?
pronounce it.
Ah, yesterday I have a problem with it. So, come knowledge seekers.
So you have a problem.
Which system makes the egg in the woman, and which system makes the sperm?
It's called like the reproductive system. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but there is a.
You mean the
He
actual?
wants to call it the ovaries. Yeah.
Yeah. The
what
ovaries.
else? Yeah, you see, yeah, okay. There is something you have to extend your knowledge to. Let me check something. I have to leave in 28 minutes because we have meetings, important meetings. We have to leave. 28 minutes, we reach what they call it 3 hours line. You got to remember or beyond your understanding of today. And that extension is very simple. every cell of any being works in a collect position with all the cells of the man. So the change in
Sorry, Mr. Cash, you are
your
breaking.
finger.
You are breaking. We didn't
Oh, that's
hear
good. It
nothing.
means God doesn't want you to learn. It means God doesn't want you to learn the knowledge, but teach.
Yes, he
See,
does. Yes, he does.
Pardon?
I just said, yes, he
What'd you
does.
say,
Yes,
Rick?
he does.
Yes, he does.
Let me explain
I'm
to you something.
trying
This
to
I
encourage
explained.
God a little there. Go ahead, sorry.
Good idea. God, let's see how he feels comes that. You see, first of all, I was explaining this in some of the, I discussed this with Elia Kostova in depth in one of the private teachings. And in past few weeks, I repeated it with some other knowledge seekers. If you look at any creature, vertical or horizontal, very few do not follow this procedure or this pattern. You see the soul of the man and the reproduction organ of the or animal creature is on two opposite ends of each other. In a way, when you speak about creation and whatever, is the soul of the man which continues when a child is born,
You're breaking up, Mr. Kesh.
I think, Rick, it's truly God do not want us to hear that.
He didn't want that last statement somehow. But we could almost make it up, you know, I could hear the words that should have been. And
okay, can you hear it? Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we missed the last two sentences.
Okay, it
it's
means God,
more
it
than
means man
two.
is not mature. We try to bypass the creator, see what happens. As we said, we leak some information he doesn't want you to hear. Let's see what happens. Stand the punishment. What happened if you look at all the creatures as man itself? The soul of the man, the production, the control of the man, and the soul of the man, and the production of the man are in two opposite ends of the physicality. When sperm is released, when egg is released, whatever has happened in the dimension of the physical life, which through the circulation of the blood transfer the information to DNA or RNA of man, and the true soul of the man is transferred to the egg or to the sperm. The soul of the egg, we call the software of it. And the sperm is just a physical matter taking that software where it's going to be used. So if we look at the total creation, the reproduction line and the soul of the man are on two ends. And the stronger always feeds the weaker up to date. Such a cell has changed. Such a cell has become cancerous. So it transfers to the cell that if that child is born, will have that information. And then we call it inherited. So it's very hard for the soul to continuously do one by one. He creates the field that as the sperm or the eggs release, will carry with them through the soul, through the dimension of non-existence in the software. And the sooner man understands this, the sooner man will go to elevate the soul of what he creates elevation of the soul of himself. This is the totality of what we have missed in the world of the creation. What we elevate in our structure of physicality, or what we learn and through interaction with the soul of the man, is transferred to the 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 ovary and the balls, or what they call testicles, just create the transportation means for transfer of the software which comes from the soul of the man in it. This is how you carry the latest knowledge and information about the changes of your parents or your creators. It doesn't go and embed. It's already there. It gets loaded up on the disk, as you call it. It's just a software load up. It's a conversion unit. And if you understand this, then you understand why the fruits of the trees and what you call the soul are in that way contacted, and how you can change it, how you do the transplant of the skin to another and you change it. As we said, the skin is part of the brain of the man, part of the emotion is carried in it. If mankind become clever enough, he won't look into the structure of the brain of the man to find all the emotions. He will look into the structure of the physicality of the skin of the man. But you're looking for a brain is good enough. Go back into medical teachings when we did, and you only looked at the what we call the structure in part of that teaching, and the constant, what you call it, the other part of it, we already established this. So if you understand the structure of your skin, how it's layered, how it has the emotion, you touch it, it feels the touch of the warmth, it teaches love touch, it feels the hate touch, it feels emotion which is by our brain in our skin, but we always ignore it. And if 3 layers, such a thin layer, can do what the brain does, so you understand how we can process it. Man needs a lot to learn because it's been focused too much by the wrong teachers in looking at his own, what they call physicality. Any other question?
That leads me to my question, which would be: is the skin part of the danger detector? You mentioned earlier that we have a danger detector, and yet we don't have a mechanical or electronic or electrical danger detector, other than certain sensors for a smoke detector or something like that. But in terms of a danger detector, we don't have one, but we do have it built into our cells. We can sense, there's this sense of something not being correct, or there's a there's a change in the fields, in Star Wars and that kind of thing. Everyone's familiar with that. But is it part of the skin? Is it the skin that knows, in effect, and we use that as a sensor? We can maybe develop that as a sensor. We talked about this in the plasma group as well yesterday.
You see, if you understand the true structure of the skin of the man, you will find out only functionable, working part of the emotion and reflection of the feeling of the man is the middle layer. The middle layer. That's why when you have psoriasis or other problems or asthma or eczema or whatever, is the middle layer which changes its salt contamination, or salinity if you like. And then you react with it, because this is the layer which is a superconductor. It doesn't have touch of the physicality outside. It's held in the middle, and it carries the motion and emotion on the superconductive layer. And that allows us to reflect our emotion in it. And then it's how we handle this in totality. It shows itself in our physical emotion of how we interact. If you look at the people with psoriasis on their knee or on their elbow, on their fingers, look into it and you will understand it. And you just need to sort out the emotion, and the skin layer changes. A lot of women can't give birth, they can't get pregnant, but they have everything with them to become. You just need to bring the change in their soul. Women cannot get pregnant for 20 years and is pregnant. Because you elevate the soul with your soul. You give the gift of love, unconditional. And it just changes. When you love somebody dearly, you give to completely, and that giving elevates the soul, and the soul sees a position of worth living, recreating, because now my love is appreciated, it's understood. It's the soul which realizes the love, not the physicality. We've seen many cases of women who have adopted many children or could not get pregnant, and suddenly they get pregnant out of nowhere. Because the level of not wanting, subconscious of dangers, aware of what could be, goes. Or they realize they can love without condition. Because now they've been loved by those who they adopted. And they can love unconditionally, so they give life to be loved, to love. And it all comes mainly through the condition of the soul and the soul of the physicality, and combines together. I've said many to many people we meet, I have shown the way the women can have children. And as a joke, I say, I fathered many children through the elevation of the soul. Because we elevate the soul of the mother. For her to realize she is valued, she's loved, she's worth living. The water and the gans is just, as I said, man is too physical. And you can do that. It's just that if the soul elevates to the level that it sees itself worth loving, worth being cared for, and it's worth that it can care for. But as I said, mankind is physical. I give you all cancers, a puppet, a bottle of water to drink, or whatever. I don't do magics, but my magic is in my knowledge. If you understand it, you already become a magician. Magic for your own soul and nobody else. To elevate it, to understand it, and then your physicality elevates. That's the whole purpose of this universal system. Any other question? Ding dong. We've got 13 minutes.
I have one thing to say to Rick, if you allow me, Mr. Cash. Rick, if you take,
Yes.
thank you. Last week, and this week, we have a little bit discussion in the reactor group. I think what Mr. Cash said about plasma do not have frequency, it will bring light in our discussion, Rick, regarding flower of life and all of that.
Yes, but he also gave some clues about the higher frequencies are materialistic, but he also mentioned microhertz and nanohertz, I believe it was. So that's at the other end of the spectrum. Maybe you could help clarify that a little bit, Mr. Kish.
No.
What is the thing about
Yes.
frequency and plasmas? Can we pulse a plasma? Can we inject a frequency into it, or a combination of frequencies? Can we sing to it?
Of course, you can
Maybe
do anything to it,
that's
but
the
it depends.
answer.
But the thing is, if you have the tools to detect the reaction of the plasma, this is the problem. If you have the tools to detect it, what is its response? This is your biggest problem. You do something, you don't see it, and then say, oh, it doesn't work, but it actually has, but you didn't see it.
But if we use ourselves, or perhaps our skin, as the detector, and it then still
You can use
using some other device, let's say a pulse generator, or some other electronic device, can we feel the results of that device in injecting it into
you see the results of the pulse, yes, but what is the actual reaction of the plasma, you don't see. Because you see, that's what I tell you. You want to see, or do you want to feel? And then do you want to feel it physically or through the sense of the emotion? As long as you rely on the physical dimension in the space, you're in a big mess. You might find some solutions on this planet because it suits you. Then I'm happy with that, what gives me here. But our purpose is to teach and to elevate the soul of man to become the passengers of the universe. At least they are aware of they are passengers of the universe. Let's put it that way. On a different strength.
Okay, we only have a few minutes left. We have Andor with his hand up here. Perhaps we can go for that. And we also had Arno, I think, had his hand up as well.
Good morning, Mr. Cash.
Who?
Under from Germany. Good morning, Rick,
Yes.
and all. Mr. Cash, in one of the last teachings, you said that Master Yeshua said suffering is everything. And my question is, did you mean suffering is everything, or did you want to show us to use this body reactor in full potential?
Can you repeat that question?
Did he meant suffering is everything, or did he meant
who? Can you?
Yeshua, Master Yeshua, Jesus? And
Yes.
did he want to say how to use this body reactor in full potential, or did he meant suffering is everything?
Actually, I understand. Christ was one of the most pleasurable people God ever created. No one knew more about fun than him. He never suffered in a way. And the only time they let him to suffer, they put him on the cross, he took his physicality and he ran with it. He never encouraged pain or suffering. This is the what they call abuse of the clergy. I have a lot of jokes about Christ and his pleasures. He is one of those who chose the path of pleasure and joy to teach than those who took the swords and fought, or those who killed in the name of Moses. That was the difference. This guy was just the man of fun and pleasure. He wasn't there to take any roughness. In all, whatever you read about him, the only time which there is a claim that he suffered when they put him on the cross with 4 nails or 3 nails on him is the time when he had to face that the fun time is over. Now it's better pack it up and go. He never encouraged suffering. This is a made up for the clergy to cash you out. Look at his life. He enjoyed the most beautiful lifestyle. He enjoyed the most beautiful women at the time. He lived amongst the richest. You show me in any part of Bible written or history or hadith that he suffered anywhere. Muhammad did, that's his name. He had to get the sword to get rid of these things. He had to do nothing. He just, by being a fun man, he brought what we call the pleasure of living. He never took a sword to kill. He never killed anything. He just encouraged being at peace with yourself, enjoy life. And a lot of clergymen from what we call Judaism didn't like it, because they couldn't get people to pay for the suffering they created. No, this is how it's abused by clergy. You go through the whole Bible, show me one sentence where he suffered. If everybody would have lived the life Jesus lived, this planet would have been a one nightclub 24 hours a day. This is abuse, actually the reverse of the truth, which is encouraged by the clergy, by those who made him to use him to elevate their own and their own pocket. The gain of the clergy doesn't come by money when it comes to the church. It comes by the submission of souls that you're better than me and I bend in front of you. You got to understand, if you watch some of these clergy, when people go and see them, they kiss their hand and they feel powerful. That's why they become clergy. The money doesn't count. It's another way of controlling, and I control in this guidance. Have we seen the world leaders go and kiss the hand of the Pope? It's the power hunger, not the path of life of the Jesus. I have a very good friend of mine, used to be ambassador, and he says, "Man, you should come and watch these world leaders when they come and see the Pope. They crawl on their hands and knees." Of course, the guy feels powerful when he's a world leader bending up forward. And he won't sell it in any way. He takes the soul of the man with his pocket. Nowhere Christ suffered. No way. No. Never did. The only suffering he went to was few nails for a few minutes, and when everybody got it, was brought on and took his physicality and ran with it. The fun was over. I'm not there anymore.
Thank you.
If you want to understand what suffering is, come and live my life for past 10, 20 years in the hand of the Belgians. Then you understand how much we suffer. We lost the dearest friend by killing Fabio. We have Naomi, as dearest soul with us, still in coma. Pablo is exiled, and everything else with it. But still, this is the progress of mankind. We look at it the best way. But suffering was worth it. The king will abdicate. And no kingship. And so we don't look at the suffering, as I always say to Carla. This is the path of developing the soul of the man. And I had a beautiful, rich life before I accepted this position. And there were some consequences for doing, changing so much abuse of this planet and its souls. Christ had a beautiful life. I wish I had his life. Moses killed, Muhammad slaughtered, and Christ got through the love. He loved women and good wine and good friends. He never suffered. I've seen it because I see in South America a lot of people say they want to suffer to elevate their soul. When you suffer, you lose part of your soul because you're stealing from the soul. The soul needs to be elevated, not to be taken from. I said to a friend very recently, when we send the first unit into Belgium as a gift to the monarchy, I want to know how many police they put on every border to ban this entry. Then you understand what suffering is. It's 8 o'clock sharp. Thank you very much for today. We thank the Keshe Foundation of Brazil for hosting us the second time. And we will announce through the chat where the meeting will be. And we ask those who write to the governments, please write more. We were waiting for it and we need it. And they are providing us with all the evidence which comes in that we can use. That is a systematical what we call harassment and everything else by government. You helped us so much, especially some authorities in the past 2 years, they opened up and they gave us more documents that you have made what calls, made whatever. And these are all happening to our benefit. We thank you. Nobody has harmed the foundation. They're all elevators and made a fast track. And those who write whatever they write, is not for us, it's for those knowledge seekers to judge themselves. It's actually for you to understand what you do, what you understand about the work of the foundation. Thank you very much for today. We have to go. And at least it's longer than last week. Last week, as I said, so when the teaching came, we couldn't find a place in Dubai airport. We taught from a nursery. And there were young souls there. We praise for all their souls. And it was fun to teach. We teach in every part. We never stop. As long as there is a breath, there is a teaching even after that. Thank you very much.
Okay, and one quick question, Mr. Keshe. Is there a physicality location in Brazil for people to meet, or is it online that people are to meet?
We will announce the venue. We are there, and we will rent a hall now that we have arrived here, and it will be announced. It will be on the 12th of December.
Okay.
12/12.
Very good. There's
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Keshe. I know we have to let you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for wonderful 305th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, December 5th, 2019. And stay tuned for another workshop next week at this time, as well as I believe we have a testimonials workshop coming up on Monday at 8 p.m. Central European Time, I believe. And okay, thank you, Flint, for taking us out and for your support today. And of course, thanks to Mr. Keshe for producing another great workshop. Okay, bye for now, everyone.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate. Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GAN's plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists and healthcare centres. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information. This video gives an insight into the therapeutic progress of a wheelchair-bound subject diagnosed with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Male, age 58, since his late 40s has been suffering from the two aforementioned conditions, which over the past 2 years have progressed dramatically, leading to a substantial loss of control over his limbs. He was brought into the hospital in a wheelchair, unable to transition from it to a standing position, stand by himself, or walk unassisted. Holding a pen and writing was also beyond his physical capability. The processing of this case started in China in early September 2019 using the Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The subject spent 15 to 20 minutes twice daily in this unit under the supervision of a team of qualified doctors and physiotherapists. The progress of rebalancing this condition through the use of the Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is presented in this video. Knowing that every case is unique, the duration of the full rebalancing for such a condition, while steadily reducing medications, is approximately 16 weeks. Currently, a team of healthcare professionals continues with the process and upon completion will report its findings to the scientific world. Day 1. The initial assessment. The volunteer is in a wheelchair. He is unable to take any steps on his own. Day 4. Standing up. The volunteer stands up by himself after the plasma processing sessions and takes his first steps using a walking frame. Day 5. The volunteer is walking using a walking frame. He is walking unassisted, walking outside, and is confidently walking towards his car. Day 6. Walking outside. He is walking with more ease by the day. Day 12. Plasma processing. The volunteer walks faster, easily passes through doors, and even manages to sit down unaided. Writing. The volunteer is able to write for the first time after a very long period. Day 14. Standing up. The volunteer transitions from kneeling to standing. Day 15. Ongoing improvement. The volunteer is now far more agile. Day 29. He is able to do squats on his own. Day 30. Progressing. Various exercises, such as step climbing on elevated surfaces and walking backwards, are now possible. Day 30 plus. Vocal exercising. The volunteer begins vocal exercises to restore his voice and speech.
Ah!
The volunteer practices motor skills and hand-eye coordination using a ball. Day 36. Exercising. He practices further coordination skills. He is more proficient when step climbing on elevated surfaces. Day 40 plus, walking. The volunteer is confidently taking a walk in the park. Day 40 plus, coordination. Now he is confident to resume a normal life and go shopping with his family in the crowded market. He is improving his movement coordination. Day 40 plus, exercising. He continues to exercise in the public parks. Day 42, running. Unimaginable. 7 weeks earlier, he was in a wheelchair. Now, the volunteer runs for the first time. Day 42, running. He is running longer distances with ease. Day 45, running. He quickly progresses, getting better day by day. Now he runs in the sports arena, achieving 300 to 600 meters in different sessions in a way that doctors barely keep up. Day 59, climbing. The volunteer engages in adventure park activities and successfully climbs on a net. Day 60, cycling. He now adds cycling exercises to his routine.